Hello, my fellow individuals. I am Mr. Mini Mask Man here, and today I'm actually going to review the movie Batman: The Killing Joke. Now, obviously, if you have not seen this film, please do not watch this video as it contains major spoilers, as I like to do with most of my reviews, if not all. But yes, it's spoilers. So don't watch this until you've seen the film. Now, this movie, I know it was based on the comic, obviously the one of people's favorites, Batman comics, The Killing Joke, and they made a film adaptation, animated film adaptation from that comic. Now, what I thought of this movie, okay, I've actually read if I recall, read The Killing Joke at least once. A friend of mine had the book or the graphic novel of that comic. It's actually not that long, and it was a pretty dark storyline compared to most Batman's, from most of Batman's comics. I've never read a lot, to be honest, so I'm not like 200% knowledgeable. Like I know everything from left to right. But I know some of the main ones and basically what Batman is, who he is, the typical origin story, the villains, and some of the well-known story arcs from the Batman comics. So, The Killing Joke, I know, again, like I'm repeating myself, is one of the darkest ones in all of Batman so far, as far as I know. And then I was really hyped and excited when I saw, the trailer for this one to come out. And I was like, oh man, they're actually, they're going to do it. They're actually going to make it, make the film out of that. So I really can't wait to see. I saw kind of like the animation and then the art style what they're going for. And I know some people were complaining like, they could have done better on that, but it made sense from what it was basing off. From the comics. Like it was just trying to match them, from the old ones. So I was like, I let it pass. I'm like, I can accept this one. It's not too bad. Now, I'm trying to remember. Hang on a second here. Fix that. Okay. But yeah, so from this movie, it wasn't a long movie actually. It was only around an hour and 15 minutes maybe. Or maybe a little less, but around there. Just basically passable for an hour. And I would say the first 25 minutes, maybe 28, is nothing but focused on Batgirl, or, Barbara Gordon, which didn't really happen at all in The Killing Joke. So, if they cut that part out, it would have probably been only like a 40-something minute film, maybe 50. I was probably 45 minutes or 40 minutes, so that's at least that I would say is the length. So it's not, like I said, it's not really a long comic. Now, in that first 28 minutes, I was kind of like, okay, we see more of Batgirl, this is interesting, and I was kind of, I was getting into it to see what Batgirl is, what goes, basically in her perspective, what she goes through fighting crime beside Batman. And they're just going down trying to take a son of a mobster, some really narcissistic sociopath that they're dealing with here, and the guy's like in love with Batgirl. Now, Batman, in time, like because that so-called sociopath is kind of teasing Barbara and kind of trapping her in these plans that he's doing. Batman's kind of worried and he tells her to kind of stay away from the case. Like eventually he told her that. Where Barbara doesn't feel fully appreciated from Batman, and she kind of feels that way, and she just kind of wants more, to say, hey, I don't exactly need your help. I can do most of this stuff on my own. He's like, just give me that chance. But Batman's very cautious and worried, where he basically tells her, it's like saying no. He's like saying, just please stay off the case. Now, the thing that caught me off guard, which is the most, recently I've assumed most of y'all heard the controversy going on in this film, is the so-called sex scene between Batgirl and Batman. Yeah, I'll admit, when I saw that, it was kind of, it felt awkward for me. I did not expect that at all to kind of go in that direction. I've never seen Batman and Batgirl in that kind of relationship. I kind of saw more of a student mentor, or even at most like a father daughter kind of relationship. I expected more Batgirl, with Robin. I would say Dick Grayson in this case, or I guess sometimes in the Arkham games they kind of hinted with Tim Drake, but I kind of expected that. But her and Batman though, like I said, I haven't read all the comics, so if you know there's some comics or even an animated series or film that kind of hinted towards that, then please, let me know, comment down below, because I never knew that was a thing. Was it ever a thing? Is this something that they just put? I don't know, but it was, like I said, it was just really off. It's kind of like, this is, Commissioner Gordon, Jim Gordon, really close friends, with Batman, and Batman just kind of, just hinting that with his best friend's daughters. I don't know. It seemed kind of off, to be honest. And that's my phone. But anyways, it seemed kind of off, and it definitely caught me off guard. Now, that scene didn't ruin the whole movie for me. It's like, oh, this is gonna be bad, I give up. They ruined it. No, nothing like that. I wanted to see the rest, where they actually start the depth of the Killing Joke story arc. But yeah, like I said, it was just, I don't know if it was something necessary. I kind of understood why they did this. Well, as you see the film progress, I get it, but I think they could have done something a little bit more different, a different path to kind of lead to that. Because I know, honestly, what happens now after, that whole section of Barbara, after Batman warns her about, that path of the abyss where you can never return. And she kind of almost went to that, where she released her rage. Because, after that whole fiasco with her and Batman kind of felt awkward as himself and never really communicated with her much. And she was getting frustrated that, he never talked to her for a while. And then, she finally finds that criminal that they're after for those first section. And he just, she releases her rage, just beats the living hell out of that guy. And then she kind of stopped as if she noticed, and she was almost towards that path. So she stops, and then by that point, just to make things not awkward, she confronts Batman, saying, she quits being Batgirl. She just doesn't want it anymore, because she doesn't want to go through that again and just kind of make things feel, not so weird or awkward between her and Batman. So he says, this is just me as Barbara Gordon, and you as Batman or Bruce Wayne, whichever. But that's basically all you need to know about that whole first 20-something minutes of the film. It was focusing on Batgirl, like I said, I kind of see why they're trying to develop her to make a bigger impact of what happens to her in The Killing Joke. But I still didn't really feel that strong where it hit me, like in The Killing Joke itself, even though Barbara's only her only purpose of The Killing Joke was to hurt, Jim, and obviously Batman as well, but especially Jim Gordon, where Joker was trying to break him. But I mean, I don't know, that the first 20-some minutes, I'm still kind of here and there. It's specifically that scene where they're controversing about, and I'm just not. Again, I don't know. I know I'm not providing enough facts of why, but it just didn't feel necessary. And that's all I'm gonna say. It didn't feel necessary. They could have done something a tad bit different than going with that. But like I said, if it did happen, or if it was implied in the comics, or in one of the Batman animated series, then let me know, because I never knew about that at all. Honestly, I never knew. So, but anyways, past that part, then we actually start with The Killing Joke, where Joker gets loose. Batman and Jim trying to find him, and the cool part, I like, just like in the comics, was where it was showing a little bit of Joker's past, Well, in this version of the comics, so I know the Joker doesn't technically have an actual origin, but this is like one of the parts of his origins. So where the Joker was a comedian, well, try to be a comedian, and he was trying to provide for his pregnant wife. He wanted to be successful to help her out and all that, to provide for them. But obviously it didn't work out, and then he makes a deal with the mob that he's going to help him because he used to work at this factory. He's going to help him, kind of find a way towards that factory. I forgot what they were doing exactly, but they needed him for that information, and he was going to do it. But then what happens, where he gets the message that his wife got killed in a car crash with the baby, and he kind of saw no point anymore. But the mob, so they kind of say you can't turn your back now, so you still have to do it, which he ended up doing it anyways. And they gave him the Red Hood, cape and helmet, specifically the helmet. So he wasn't really the Red Hood, like another Red Hood, but he was kind of imitating the Red Hood, just to kind of keep a disguise and so forth. So that's what happens, where they go there, they infiltrate it, but they didn't expect that the security was there. So they kind of run away. The cops kill those two mob guys, while the Joker was trying to escape, and Batman was there in that flashback, and he found him. But he was kind of like afraid, and he tripped over the cape where it fell through the chemicals, and he got out through the waist, and that's where he became the Joker and started going insane. And his skin dye and his hair color, so forth. Now in The Killing Joke, what happened was, I don't really explain what happens, because if you read the comics, you know what happens. It's nothing new. So basically, Joker, Barbara's with his dad, Jim Gordon. Joker opens the door, shoots Barbara, where he leaves her basically handicapped. He takes Jim Gordon and he strips Barbara, and took pictures of her. It's implied, but now I don't know if the Joker raped her or not. I never got that impression that he did. I just think he just took pictures. He did strip her nude and took pictures of her just to humiliate Jim Gordon. But I never got the implication that he went further. You know what I mean? That he raped her or not. I don't think so. Personally, I don't think so. I didn't think he'd do that. I think he just stripped her, took pictures of her just to humiliate Jim Gordon and try to break him. But that's what I think. Now, after that incident, when Batman in the middle is searching for the Joker, he hears about that. He sees Barbara, and Barbara, was worried about Jim, and surprisingly, she was not, fully broken in spirit, or she really wanted, the Joker be put away. So, what's the point of the Joker doing this? As he found a carnival to kind of, with all these, almost like the people from the Freak Show, helping him out. And they kind of stripped also Jim Gordon naked. And they try to make him go through these weird trials. And again, trying to break Jim, where Joker's trying to convince Jim about not going things with the law, and kind of go things with his own way. Kind of break his code, I would say, and his morality and his spirit. I guess that was kind of the point of what the Joker was trying to do, thinking of his, because then throughout the whole movie you see part of his flashback, just like in the comics, throughout the whole thing. And the main thing where Jim Gordon's like, why are you doing this? And the Joker's simple answer was to make a point. Now, and I would say I know people already know this. Maybe it's just me. Like, the point, I guess, was trying to draw that, or I think they even explained in the movie. I think what it's trying to show that you can make a normal man or person, just in general, man or woman, go insane. Just break them and they go insane, just like him. So he's trying to prove that people can become, one bad day to become like him, like the Joker in this case. So he tried to do that with Jim, possibly Barbara, but I don't think with Barbara. He was just using her for part of that for Jim. And when Batman arrives, he knows Joker sent him a letter to know where he was, and he confronted Jim as the Joker escaped. And Jim told him, please get the Joker, put him in custody, we're going to do this by the book. And he repeats it twice, by the book. So obviously Jim, even throughout all of that, and when he saw, the images of Barbara naked, wounded and all that, and it almost broke Jim, and it traumatized him, but it still didn't fully break him. It didn't break him at all, so he was still going by the code. And I would say, Batman, I kind of saw that, and I remember from the comics, when he said that, and then Batman confronted the Joker, and he was trying to tell the Joker that you couldn't do it. Your whole plan didn't work out. So, he kind of beats up the Joker just a little bit, and the Joker just kind of says, you know what? He says, fine, you win. Here, beat me up as usual and cuff me. But surprisingly, Batman said no. He says, not this time. He says, this time I want you to know that you're not alone in this case. So here, what I liked about The Killing Joke is this whole relation between Batman and the Joker. Where Batman, he was trying to make a point where why this hate between him and Joker? There's no necessity for killing each other. We don't know each other that much. I want to know more about you, and you can maybe know stuff about me. And he says, let's just end this. Not exactly end it, become friends or anything, but let's kind of at least know each other or issues or problems. It's not too late to change. And the Joker, for once, which was kind of, not I don't want to say off or weird, it's not, but you kind of see a difference in the Joker's personality where you kind of see him in that moment where he's kind of serious. He's not fully insane just for this 1 or 2 minutes. And he kind of goes to Batman and is like, no, I can't change. It's too late for me. So, and you kind of see that serious tone with the Joker, inside how he feels, and just like in the comics too, it was, something different. What I liked, it was like a different side of the Joker that you barely ever see him in any of the comics or the shows. He's just, just some crazy psychopath, but here in this 1 or 2 minutes, you kind of see this humane side, just like where it showed the flashback of him before, became the Joker. So you still see this humanity within him, just for those few minutes. And that's what I liked most about it. I would say that was my favorite scene in this whole film, between him and Batman. So, Batman was trying to understand him. He really was. I kind of like that moment there. And then you see, obviously, when Joker, he starts laughing, his typical self, and he remembers the joke. And he tells Batman this joke. And, Joker starts laughing. And then for me, this was always the weird, I keep saying weird, but it's not weird, but I would say this is the most interesting, maybe even if you want to call it creepy, but interesting side where the Batman also laughs with the Joker at his joke. And then you hear them both start laughing, just like in the comics, and it just ends like that. So it's like, what does it say, really? I forgot that in the comics, I don't know if they implied or that was kind of a mystery of whether Batman actually did kill the Joker or not. There was questions on that, but I don't think so. But I didn't think he'd do that in the comics. In the movies, it wasn't implied really on that. You just kind of see him like he's still going to take him in, but he offered, in a way, some help or some weird relationship of friendship that he was trying to offer for the Joker. And it's like that laughing with him at that joke at the end of the movie was kind of almost implying where he kind of gets the Joker. He gets it. Just for that moment, as he saw, that part of that humane side of him. And it's kind of more like, yeah. But I like that touch. I've always kind of liked that, where it's kind of like so. You don't see that a lot in Batman's comics between him and the Joker, that rivalry, or that so-called relationship. But yeah, I kind of like that. So, and then that's where the movie ends, just like in the comics. Now, let me see, animation throughout this whole movie. I mean, yeah, like I said in the beginning, it could have been better, but it didn't bother me that much, to be honest. I thought it was all right. It didn't bother me throughout the movie. So the animation, you don't have to worry about it. I know people are more not perfection, but they're used to much better at this time. At this time of year, there should be animation. The frame rates should be like right up there, but this one is kind of lacking a little bit of each. So, but it didn't bother me personally. So I was okay with that. the only thing that it was just something about the stuff about Barbara Gordon or Batgirl. I mean, like I said, I know what it was trying to do. It tried to make Batman feel guilty of that incident with the Joker, shot her because of, like, he loved her and stuff like that and cared about her. Although in the comics, I would say the guilt felt more from him feeling like he jeopardized Jim. It's almost like a betrayal of Jim Gordon as a close friend, always putting his daughter's life in danger every time whenever she puts on the suit as Batgirl. And he kind of feels guilt when she finally something happened to her that cost her, where she's not able to walk again. And that's where I feel that's where Batman's true guilt comes from. Where in the movie they try to do it more like he feels the guilt because of this sort of thing they kind of had. Like, it wasn't a true relation, but it was just kind of, it was kind of weird. Like, I know what they were trying to do, but it just didn't, like I said, it could have been done different. It could have been done different on that. So that's probably one of my only main complaints in this movie. And there's some things in the movie that I thought it could have been delivered compared to the comics. Like in the comic of The Killing Joke, I felt much more grittiness and dark. Like, it was really there. It was just really like, wow. In this movie, even though I kind of know expected what to see, but even if I didn't know nothing about the movie, there's just this few moments where it could have been, the delivery could have been even better. Like I said, the only one that actually hit me, just like in the comics, was like around the end, between the dialogue between Batman and the Joker at the very end. That was like the only part that I would say that actually made me feel the same way like in the comics. But yeah, so overall, I was saying this movie, like I said, DC, they almost always make really good animated films. So this one, and it's a Batman film, so automatically you think, oh, Batman, easy win. And this one, I would say maybe the only problem was my expectations were way too high, which I'm trying not to do that for most films out there. So yeah, I would say, this one, I think my problem was my expectations were kind of high, so I didn't feel that expectation when I saw it. It was still a good, I thought it was a good movie. Even regardless of that criticism and controversy between Barbara Gordon and Batman and Bruce Wayne. Besides that whole part where they try to do a Batgirl, I still like the movie. It's just it's not as high as I was expecting it. So I think overall, my overall rating between a 1 out of 10, using the 0.5 decimal as a possibility, I honestly would give this movie like around a 8.5 out of 10, just to be generous. And maybe at the lowest, maybe an 8 out of 10. But I actually, I also expect this movie to be like a 9.5 or 10 because it's the Killing Joke, so it's like one of the best ones out there. But like I said, the only thing that made me knock down the ratings was just because of the whole Batgirl arc, that little tiny 20-something minutes of that. I would say what they were trying to do, it didn't quite work out. So mainly that was the main reason, and then the other part was some parts of the movie where the delivery could have been better. It could have made me feel just like in the comics when I read it, but it didn't really deliver on those parts as I expected. And then the animation, like I said, it's not really a big iffy for me, but I know it could be for some other people. They could have been like, the frame rate is terrible and blah blah blah, but I didn't think so. I didn't think so. So overall, yes, I'll probably just as safe to say I give it an 8.5. Like I said, between an 8 and an 8.5 out of 10 for this movie. But yeah, I don't know if there's anything else to add. But I would say that's pretty much, I guess that's all I got to say about this movie, of what you're expecting. Or obviously it's a spoiler review, so you've probably already seen it, or you just don't care and would like to hear what the movie was about and the pros and the cons of the film. So yeah, that's all I got to say about this one. I expected it to be a tad bit better, to be honest. But it is what it is. They finally did something, you know. They tried their hardest. I mean, I had freaking Kevin Conroy as Batman, Mark Hamill's the Joker, and Tara Strong. So, yeah, like the best 3 voice actors right there in this film. But I think even like that, like I said, it can't be done for those few things that I just didn't like. But it is what it is once again. I'm just glad they at least did an animated film adaptation of that part of that comic of The Killing Joke. So at least give them the effort for that, and they did their best, I would say. Could do better, sure. The writing on that on the Batgirl writing, like I said, I'm trying not to let that get in my head, because I know because of that is what made people completely just flat out hate the movies. Either people, I kind of see between them, at least the reviews or some people's comments is between either completely left, where they just flat out hate it because of that controversy between Batgirl and Batman, or just completely to the right, where they just say, hey, it's The Killing Joke, automatically I love it, no matter what they did, and try to defend the scene. Me, I'm kind of like a little bit, I'm still on the right, but not full on right, because I can tell the faults and the criticism so forth that I feel. I'm trying to be honest, so this is my true honesty. But yeah, that's all I got to say about that. So yeah, so I'll say yeah, 8 or 8.5 out of 10. Pretty much that's all I got to say. But anyways, that's it for this review. So if you guys enjoyed this video, you know what to do. But yeah, now I'm going to call it a night. It's really late, so I hope you guys have a nice day.